first, and I'll go about introducing each one of them before we start with the session. So first we have Miss Jayashree Sanghani. She is the founder president of Reach Beyond. She is a counseling psychologist with an experience of more than 15 years. At present, apart from managing the NGO, she is also the counselor for St. Francis Girls High School. She has pursued her Bachelor's of Commerce from Osmania University, followed by a Master's of Science in Psychology from Madras University. She has achieved a postgrad diploma in psychological counseling from St. Francis College and a certification course in psychological testing and behavior management from NIMHANS. Uh, she has also been trained in positive psychology at NIMHANS in Bangalore. Moving on to our second speaker, we have Dr. Smita Sharma. She is a founder governing council member of Reach
Hi
Beyond.
everyone.
Yeah, hi. And she has an experience of more than 18 years. Now, she has completed her doctorate in psychology from the Government Girls Degree College in Bhopal. Her experience is actually vast. She has worked with BITS Pilani, NIFT, Princess Essen School. She has also trained in positive psychology at NIMHANS, and she has also worked in Australia. Now, she is the faculty of the psychology department at St. Francis College. She is a panelist at the Indian School of Business. Now, she has mentored and supported global social ventures competition. She has also conducted positive psychology interventions on patients with depression, anxiety, and presented research papers based on this. She has hosted programs, workshops, seminars at the College of Defense Management, St. Martin's Engineering College, UBS, KIMS Hospital, JJ School of Arts, and Teach for India. She has written articles and has been interviewed by the Indian Express, Times of India, and other magazines. Welcome, Smita.
Thank you.
Now, moving on to our third speaker, we have Ms. Harshita. She is a counseling psychologist who is also working for Reach Beyond. She has pursued her bachelor's in home sciences with a specialization in human development and family studies from Hyderabad, followed by a master's of science in applied psychology from St. Francis degree in Hyderabad as well. During her coursework, she has worked with different age groups, which includes children, adolescents, and adults, regarding interpersonal issues, anxiety, depression, anger, and stress management. She has also conducted training modules for these age groups, and she has also worked as a training therapist. So we are really glad to have very experienced speakers with us today. And now we'll be handing over the stage to you. Please enlighten us.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Hira. So I'd like to share my screen now.
Yeah.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, you are.
Okay, awesome.
Wonderfully.
Yeah.
Please give me a moment. Is everybody able to see the screen, Matt?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I hope the screen is visible now.
Yes.
Okay. So hello everyone, a very good evening and a warm welcome to one and all present here. I'm C. Harshita, counseling psychologist at Reach Beyond NGO, Center for Positive Psychology. And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our organization. Reach Beyond NGO is a premier scientific organization committed towards optimizing psychological, emotional, and social health by professional psychologists, counselors, remedial educators, and corporate trainers through the principles of positive psychology. Reach Beyond Center for Positive Psychology is one of its kind, the first education and training facility in this region established to disseminate the total spectrum of positive psychology by sharing the gift of joy and fulfillment, mainly to fit the needs of individuals in particular and the society in general. The center inculcates the positive features that make life worth living: creativity, hope, wisdom, courage, spirituality, responsibility, and perseverance are best explained as transformation agents in generating authentic positive impulses. Reach Beyond envisions a world where all the individuals have the privilege and means to grow into happy, healthy, positive, and self-regulated individuals. Our services include free and confidential counseling for individuals and group on varied concerns like interpersonal issues, depression, anxiety, stress, education and career, well-being, interpersonal relationships, premarital and marital counseling. We also use standardized psychological assessments in understanding the individual's personality, IQ, aptitude, and the potential to reach their best and strive for counseling, education, training, and disseminating various aspects of positive psychology. We conduct after-school programs for the first-generation school-going children who are from economically challenged backgrounds but are intelligent in academics to pursue their higher studies. Till date, more than 200 children have been benefited since inception, and currently around 70 are registered. We conduct classes on English communication, math and logical reasoning, computer education, creative arts, and positive psychology after the school hours in a very congenial environment to shape the young minds. This has had a positive impact on students' learning, behavior, and mental health. Recently, due to the lockdown, laptops are provided to the students of 9th to 12th grade, which is helping them in getting used to the online and WhatsApp mode of classes and engaging themselves in constructive learning. Coming to research and development in positive psychology, more than 10 research papers have been published on various positive psychology topics. We had conducted a pilot study in association with Teach for India in 2016, where more than 100 trainers were trained in gratitude. 8 fellows and 300 students, 3 schools, were part of the pilot study. They took it to the classroom level in the form of gratitude journaling. Results which showed there was increase in their positive emotions and decrease in the negative emotions of the students in just 1 month of training without any extra academic support. One of our major areas of services is a skill building program. We had recently started the ongoing free advanced beautician course for the young women and girls to help them be financially independent. We completed 4 batches and more than 100 young girls and women have been trained. We are associated with many organizations to promote positive psychology and provide training in different skills of positive psychology like gratitude, mindfulness, self-regulation, self-awareness, well-being, and positive mental health. Till date, around 30,000 individuals from different schools, colleges, corporates, and social organizations have been trained. So these are some of our associates from educational institutions, corporates, as well as social organizations. So thank you so much. And I think Smita ma'am can take over from here now.
Sure. Thank you, Harshita. It was a wonderful recap. You revisit such a beautiful time together and doing our share of bit for the society. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like you to go to an open screen where we can just have a little conversation and then we start the presentation.
Sure, ma'am.
So a very good evening to all of you. I would just like to ask the organizers that generally you have the same kind of a format in terms of that the audience is not visible to us. If that is the thing, I'm going to align myself to that. B is that we are definitely looking at a more interactive session versus we sit here and we talk about what we definitely love to talk about because we strongly believe in it. But it would be great that we see some amount of reach out and participation from your end. So at any given point of time, if you feel that a certain aspect resonates with you and you have a reflection or a point of view that you wish to share with the other people, that please feel free to do that. It would be very encouraging for us facilitators. So Aman was someone that I was having a little dialogue with. So Aman, how does it work?
Hello.
Yes, Aman. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
for
See,
showing up. Yes,
yeah.
can we have just few more people? Show up, man. It feels wonderful. Social distancing, physical distancing, and now virtual distancing. Thank you, Hira.
Yes,
Call
nice.
out, call out. Oh, great.
Great, Pranav. Nice.
Wonderful,
Shraddha.
wonderful. This is great. Yes, some more people here.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes, great, great, great. Okay, so a formal good evening to all of you, and thank you so much. I'm super excited to share, the best possible way in this, so to say, an hour and a half that we have together. And you people have invested so much of time putting it together and stuff. So make use of this time. Let it be more of a conversation, a discussion versus a preachy session. So I'm a professor, so I know how does it go, like an online class. So let this not look like just a class. So to begin with, the Psych Club, as how do you spell it? Like Psych Club? Is that what you say? Right? So
Yeah.
is there a full form to that or something? Have you? This is just an acronym, or is something is done around it or not really?
No, it's just a short for psychology. That's it.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Something came to my mind, and I'm very happy to share that. Like, and it's so crucial, keeping in mind the pandemic and its after effects that we are all, caught up in. Maybe not struggling, but maybe caught up in. Something on terms of self-care, which is so very crucial, which we have always been pushing at the back end. So how does it sound when I say that positive self-care yields caring hearts? If you have positive self-care attitude, you're going to yield, you're going to bring out a caring heart. It enables a caring heart. So that's for your Psych Club. Now, what I would request all the participants, what's the number of the participants we have right now with us? It's not showing to me.
As of now, we have 51.
51. So what we will do, because we are connecting for this webinar at the fag end of the day, so I'm sure you have been through your classes or, whole lot of other things. So let's take a little breather. Let's focus our attention on this. Let's calm our sensibility. So we will do just a minute long meditation, or not even a meditation. I would rather take you to just a little breathing, conscious, mindful breathing exercise. Let's do that, and then we will, get into the flow of the webinar. So I just request, I'm going to go along with you guys for that. So straighten your back, keep your spine straight. And this activity, this breathing exercise, you can do at any given point of the day. Put your right palm on your left palm. Keep your back straight. And if possible, go bare feet. Put your feet on the floor. And take a deep breath. Shut your eyes very gently and take a deep breath in. Relax yourself and draw your attention and focus just on your breathing pattern. Observe your breath. Let the thoughts come and pass by. You make a little effort and draw your attention back on your breath. Now, consciously and mindfully, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, mindfully breathe in joy, happiness, calmness. Hold your breath in for a minute, for a second, and breathe out all your stress, anxiousness, worry, negative feelings. We will take 3 breaths like this. Next, when we are going to breathe in, we are going to be mindful that we are expanding our stomach, our lungs. Be mindful that you are inhaling wonderful oxygen. And as you breathe out, let your stomach stick in. Relax yourself. Calm your head, your face, your shoulders, your stomach, your legs. Relax yourself. Take a deep breath and gently open your eyes. Rub your palms together and put them on your eyes. Just your palms together and put on your eyes. How are we feeling? Are we feeling a little better? Just respond right on the chat
Much calmer.
box. Much calmer, much focused.
Yeah.
So let's get going. Let's start our dialogue together on positive psychology and how to be our best possible self. Harshita, please maybe start the presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, please.
Are you able to see the screen, ma'am?
Absolutely. Go ahead. The next one, please. So these are a few things that go back to the objectives. So this is the basic core objective of our session today. We are definitely in our own way, we are trying to facilitate and reach out to you, give you a more conceptual and applied knowledge around these areas that we are covering. It's a psychology club, you definitely know it, but it's going to build up the momentum from where we are leading you to. So I'll give you a small, like a peekaboo into psychology, the core reason of existence of positive psychology, how that has been an enabling force in the present generation, and how and in what all respect it is creating a huge impact. The ripple effect is strong and loud, and it is it is in its own way creating a humongous noise around the world. We will be touching few nuances of self, uh, and then lead you to the core topic of today's session, the best possible self. What are the skills that are required for best possible self? What kind of strengths each one of us we have that we are aware of or not aware of, and how we can figure that out, how to self-regulate ourselves so that we can perform at our optimum best. And definitely Jeshri will be taking you through how to generate the core importance of positive emotion in our well-being on a day-to-day level, and how to generate positive emotions in our life. So these are just like a soft blueprint of today's workshop that we have with you. Next, please. This is a beautiful quote by Aristotle that we know that the true happiness, the very fact we brought this out, that why happiness? Because we all have different goals, needs, desires, but the end product as a human race, what we are all looking for is some amount of happiness. And we feel that happiness brings a sense of stability, a sense, and one leads to this place of happiness when one is successful. So, true happiness comes from gaining insight and growing into our best possible self. So, thousands of years ago, Aristotle spoke about, and it stands so true now too. Next, please. So, let's talk about psychology. If I have to talk about my life in terms of my association with psychology, so maybe more than what, 30 years or 32 years, 34 years. When I started, I never thought I'll be a psychologist one day, and I wanted to get into pure medicine but couldn't crack my seat in that, and looked at psychology as the next best option. But trust me, in India, we have come a long way in this field. What I mean to say is, at that time, psychology or people connected with the field of psychology were largely looked at paglon ke doctor. If somebody's gone crazy up in the head, they reach out or they use the services of a psychologist. There were hardly, conversation, discussion, or know-how about psychology. So today is a time when we are having these webinars. So this is like sun is shining bright on our uh, on our fraternity, in terms of not only in terms of the wide range of reach out that is possible, but also people understanding the need of it. So with that background, just to recap that what psychology is, a psychology, beside the definition that is up on the screen for you, it is a study of the mind. It's a study of human learning, of human mind, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the behavior. It is also the work in the domain of psychology that happens as psychologists. What we do, we try to learn and understand not just the emotional part of it, but the physiological aspect of human existence. We also function and try to go deeper into the neurobiology of human existence, because put everything together is what we look at in a wholesome, conducive way, is the area or field of psychology. It's a domain in the academic area. Definitely, we are not, looking at it any other way, but it has been stretched in multiple directions, and it's been able to show and impact, its usability in multiple domains. Having said that, we from our NGO, we are trying our level best to connect and reach out and bring this kind of awareness, that not only this should be just looked at in terms of another course or another, I would say, a degree form, but psychology needs its very strong evident place in the curriculum in terms of as a life skill, because it connects a human being to himself, and that enables him to connect with the outer world, the larger real world that he exists in. So before World War II, if I have to share with you, when the psychology as a field was, getting its little opening up, and people were talking, the core objectives that were formed during that time were largely, definitely, to cure mental illnesses, to make people live lives of, more productive lives. And there was another very core objective which was forgotten post World War II, which was to find talent and strength of people. This was the role and objective of applied psychology before World War II. But post World War II, the larger focus was drawn and got restricted just to cure mental illnesses. It just began and it ended there. Then in 1998, um, Harshita, can we go to the next slide, please? So in 1998, Martin Seligman, he's known as the father of positive psychology, and he took over as the president of the American Psychological Association, which holds a huge significance in the psychology fraternity. So when he took over as the president, he called out to the people in the applied psychology, and he said that I want you to go back to your roots. I want you to look at uh, well-being not only in terms of absence of mental illness. So he worked on and he researched and he gave, I would say, humanity this beautiful subset of psychology which holds a lot of meaning. It's a scientific study because whatever that we will be sharing with you students, it's coming from a place of research background. So it all talks about how individuals can be helped, supported, worked around, enabled so that they can lead a very fulfilling, thriving lives. How they can have a sustainable, productive life. And it doesn't begin and ends with an individual success or thriving or well being. Positive psychology also brings to forefront how, with each individual, one post that one reaches to enabling and have flourishing, thriving communities, how that can be worked around. So there is a very amazing, beautiful, systematic, categorical understanding around this subject, and we are just trying to give you a sort of a tip of the iceberg. Maybe we are going to try to look at. So positive psychology largely looks at what's going on well versus what is missing. So I have myself practiced psychotherapy for the longest, and I'm still using it as one of the tools in my counseling setup. But I've never been a happier therapist than I am now since my association with positive psychology. There was a time, then to now. Earlier, it was all about trying to find the missing links in a person's narrative or story, versus now looking at the strengths, the virtues, the positives of that individual's narrative. And that is looked at as a baseline place to operate from. So it's not that looking at a human being from as a broken individual, but looking at individual from a place of having lot of obvious, evident strengths and enablers, plus lot of subtle underlying strengths that as an individual not aware of, and how to support and help him to become aware of that and how to use it for his own and his environment's well-being. So before I take you forward, are you connected with me? Are you getting it what I'm trying to say? Just respond to me through a chat or unmute yourself and tell me, is my pace okay? Are you connected with me? I
The
need
chat
this
function is not available for everyone. So
Okay.
I think the participants have to resort to mic.
Okay, so maybe one of you can just tell me, is my pace okay? Are you able to follow me what I'm trying to say? Are you connected to me?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
the pace is fine.
Thank you. Chaliye bache. Harshita, the next slide, please. Okay, so there's a lot of like when any new thing comes up, then people have different opinions, and positive psychology is open to listening to those different perspectives. So one being, okay, positive. Jैसे for you bachas, like I can say that when I was growing up, there was a lot of use of this word like personality, right? Confidence building, personality enhancement, personality building classes. So this word was used, confidence and personality, used, abused in multiple different ways. Similarly, in the present life or generation that we are part of, there's a lot of use and abuse of the word positive. So it comes it to an extent that it is sounding very hollow and incomplete in its own capacity. So it was very important for us to know that is positive psychology is about positive attitude. So we are just trying to say no. They're two very different things. Positive attitude comes, it's a state of a mind of an individual. It's a perception of an individual based on his own personal beliefs, experiences, his own area of focus, his own area of thinking or thought process is automatic thought process. Wherein when we look at positive psychology, it's a scientific approach, it's a scientific study, it has its own tenets. It is that kind of a science which is replicable. You can replicate it in terms to enhance the usage of this field. And it doesn't focus, or it doesn't change from person to person. It is very very concrete and malleable at the same end. It's very concrete with respect to its fundamentals. It's very malleable in terms to align and realign itself to the relevant very very relative needs of the individual. So positive psychology and positive attitudes are very different. Positive attitude changes per se to the external environment or internal chaos. Positive psychology and its approach stays strong and standard. So let's move forward, Harshita. Then why should we study positive, or why should we even know about positive psychology? uh, the first thing is, which caught my attention, I would say, was this whole idea that we don't have to get unwell to start looking at or investing around our well-being. So how well-being needs to be a way of life, how self-care, that's why I thought of bringing that positive self-care, how self-care needs to be a priority. We have been we love our country, we love our culture, we love the values that we have been handed over by senior generations. But definitely there are few things that require readdressing, reattention, realignment. And one of those very prominent area to look into is that I versus the world. So we have always been culturally conditioned with this belief that it's a smarter, it's better, you're a good human if you're just putting other people in front of you. If you allow other people to walk before you, it's a good idea. So you need to be doing more for others versus your own self. Positive psychology talks about, or the whole idea is that the charity begins from home. One needs to invest in one's well-being if one wants to create well-being in the immediate or expanded environment one is placed in. So self-care needs to be a priority. Self-love is of exceptional importance. You cannot uh, live a life coming from a place of love if you don't have love, respect and compassion for your own self. So all these very finer, very important things were brought out in open for discussion, and which held so much of meaning that it led one thing to the other. It's positive psychology largely talks about strengths. So we have all, I think you guys also, the kind of area that you are in, we have done SWOT 100 million times. We look at your strengths and weaknesses, and we generally, when we look at our strengths, we can count them on our fingers like that. So today I will be helping you, with a technical tool to explore your strengths now, and how positive psychology is very important. That uh, as a general human or as a layman, we have always been looking at happiness at the far end, right? So if I'm going to work hard, I need to work hard, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to be earning money, and these are those check boxes I need to be ticking in, and I will be moving forward in my life. One fine day I'm going to get my goal, and then I'm going to be happy and joyous. So am I telling myself that in this entire journey I just should be looking at this candy hanging at the other end, and I have to deprive myself of each beautiful day that I'm blessed with? I don't want to sound preachy, but I am just trying to keep it very simple to connect with you all. So, positive psychology says that the probability of one's success, if one is using this approach, is very it's very less versus if somebody is using each moment each day to the best of his or the uh, experience ability, making best of each moment each day, and enabling oneself to a place where you can touch base upon your strengths. You become aware of your strengths, use them for your benefit, and become happy and joyous about it. Savor it. How we look at it generally when we talk about savoring, this whole term comes from a place of कि हम कुछ खाना खा रहे हैं और उसके टेस्ट को सेवर कर रहे हैं. अब हमको लाइफ को सेवर करना है, right? We are always in this whole rush. We shouldn't be blaming. I don't like to blame कि generation ऐसी है और ऐसा हो रहा है. Generation हमारे time पे भी एक different थी, but what I'm just trying to say that we need to start connecting with our own selves. So one of the prime things as a take back from today's session, I would just request that if you are seriously, because you are investing time in this, then keep a small book or your laptop or wherever, just make notes. So one of the take back is, as I just mentioned, that we have always been told to look at and look for other people before your own self. So that was one thing, that focus your attention on yourself, redirect. We have always been, or rather most of the time, externally oriented. दूसरे लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं, क्या कह रहे हैं, how much progress they have made in their life, what are they doing. So most of our thoughts are aligned to what is happening outside us. So if you are looking at to be a smarter, stronger, better version of your own self, I would really suggest that very consciously, very mindfully draw your attention back on your own self. Create mindfully, consciously internal locus of control. Focus on your own being, my story, my priorities, my needs, my desires. What about me? So, if one starts from there, and if one gets settled with the self, gets next to a place of figuring about one's strengths. What are my strengths? What enables me to achieve success? What are the areas of my life which are time and again coming as a block, but I'm not ready to accept these blocks, and I'm using other modes, mediums as a reason for my holding back or staying stuck in the place where I am, right? So with this little background, we move forward, that why positive psychology, because it definitely helps and enables us to move our attention. Do I have mental illness too? Am I mentally sound and wonderful? Am I thriving in my life? Just because I'm not having anxiety and depression doesn't tell me that I'm flourishing in my life. It takes a lot of other components to be calling yourself to be in a wonderfully mental space. So when I'm talking using the word mental, it's not coming from the cliche mental, that crazy, right? So I'm talking, when I'm saying the word, it's coming from a place of my mind space. So as I said, I strongly believe that our journey starts from self. So let's understand the self. A lot of time in my workshops and all, I have seen, we don't have that kind of a time today. But when we tell them, and give them stuff to do, and they struggle a huge amount of time where they are supposed to just write about themselves. But on the other side, if you tell us something about maybe your girlfriend, boyfriend, your relative, or maybe your sibling, you will find them pretty quick to answer to that. What does that say? Again, it brings us back to the point that we are so largely externally connected, that We hesitate to, we are not sure of, we are doubtful when we have to authentically at a deeper level talk about who we are. So when we talk about self, Carl Rogers is a revered psychologist. He said the organized, consistent set of perceptions and beliefs about oneself. Certain set of beliefs that you are holding true to yourself for too long because your beliefs leads you to behave in a certain way. So your beliefs at a deeper level, and I don't know how many in this group today have ever thought about the role beliefs play in our lives. So how are beliefs formed in the first place? Let's try to understand. So beliefs are formed through our life experiences. Beliefs are formed by the messages we get from our most significant people to begin with. When I say significant people, I'm trying to draw your attention. The first set of significant people are the parents, the siblings, the school teachers. How a child is addressed initially, how the child is nurtured, how and what kind of attention the child got from these significant people in the initial years of one's life helps him to formulate his initial beliefs about self and about the world. Now, these beliefs continue to form and continue to get concrete. This is one reality of psychology. Now, the other aspect, as we move forward, I will be, decoding for you. So, your self is your sense of who you are deep down. If deep down, only if you are mindfully, consciously spending time to look deep down. Because keep it in mind, this is again a very important take back from today's session. When we talk about self, we need to understand and accept that self is not beautiful all the time. Self can be very ugly, can be very horrible, something that you will become very distant from. You will say, oh my god, I ended up doing something like this. Oh, I feel horrible about myself. So instead of holding those negative emotions or negative intense idea about self, just accept for who you are at a given point of time, acknowledge and accept, and then very realistically work on it. So your identity is yourself. Next slide, please. So I give you a moment here that if you have a pen and paper, just it will give you, it's a very good point and a very simple exercise which will help you to reflect. So write 5 statements starting with I am. Whatever that comes to your mind first needs to be here. Don't think and ornate your vocabulary to make it look beautiful. You don't have to share it with me, with the group, but just write it for yourself now, as we are in that moment. Even if you can pen down 2 to begin with, but I would still request you, I'm giving you a minute to finish this. Okay, so the next slide, please. Keep this information with you. So we move forward on what is self-awareness. We talk a lot about self-awareness. So self-awareness is largely the ability to see yourself clearly as you are, with all its shades, to develop a sense of objectivity so that you don't try to cover up what is not amazing. Self-efficacy, an integral part of self. It is the core capability of the belief that I can in whatever way. based on beliefs and attributes that one holds for oneself. The belief that I can do something is self-efficacy. So how much, to what degree you have self-efficacy? Ask yourself, introspect, where, from which belief is strengthening my self-efficacy? That the world is a, so the belief could be the world is a beautiful place. It allows people to explore, experiment, and evolve as individuals. That gives me. Or my belief is coming from a place of the home that I have been raised in, because my parents have told me that I can, and it's okay for me to make mistakes, slip, and I can still bounce back. It's coming from a belief that I believe that, from a very realistic place, that human beings are bound to make mistakes. They are till they are alive. So I shouldn't be holding myself back. I shouldn't be crubbing my real zeal and enthusiasm, my real need to explore the world that I'm part of. So, so what is that belief? And if I don't have that belief, then I need to mindfully do something about it. Because if we really need to look at and try to uh, work and move towards a flourishing self, then self-efficacy is a very, very strong integral part of it. Next slide, please. I, self-image is the idea one has of one's abilities. Largely, when we look at this, it comes from a place of how I look. More than anything else, it comes from a place of how I look, what my personality is. So figure out what is my self-image. Self-worth is, forget about the world judging you in a certain way. Forget about the world, saying certain things to you at a certain point of time, which you have looked at in terms of that. If the world feels my worth is like this, maybe this is my worth. So what is that? The value that you put onto yourself is what is your self-worth. Self-esteem is put together what we think, feel, and believe about ourselves. So a lot of time you guys must have seen that you know we so this is a communication that I'm having. I'm communicating with you, I'm speaking, you are listening, I ask you to respond back, you respond. But there is that inner monologue that happens all the time. Right now also, when you're listening to me, there is an inner chatter that's going on. I'm bringing to forefront certain very strong, meaningful concept which might have stimulated you here and there, and which might have been forcing you to reflect on something or the other. So when I'm talking about self-esteem, is that it comes from a place, if I am speaking a wonderfully positively to my own self, what I tell myself about who I am is my esteem. Forget about the world judging me or making its own assumption and presumptions around it. Next slide, please. So it's very crucial and important to know the self in terms of the real self, the projected self, and the ideal self. Because if you are looking at positive self without going through these basic steps, it would be difficult. Are you people getting it, what I'm trying to say? Are you connected to what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So the real self is, how I authentically feel about something.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, the real self right now for one of you could be like, uh, uh, oh my God, it's end of the day, and what am I doing here and listening to this webinar? That's the real self. The projected self comes in play with respect to the role and responsibilities that we are, invested with. So if my role and responsibility right now is to be this good listener and to just abide by, because this is my club activity and I need to nod and say yes and all. So I'm projecting very appropriately to the demand of the role and responsibility. So that is projected. We project ourselves, right? The ideal self is that, you know, I really wish that I am, from heart and mind and soul, I'm fully attentive to this workshop. supposedly, if pun intended. So if that is, one is idealizing to be in that place. So we work from a real place, we work from a projected place, we work from our ideal place. Another strong take back from this session: when there is lot of lucid and fluidity between the real self, the projected self, and the ideal self, that tells us that self is in a safe, balanced place. Okay, but when there are strong, stark peaks and lows in the real, projected, and ideal self, then that person is bound to have a breakdown. Do you want me to explain this once again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I people generally have difficulty understanding this. So again, a simple example could be okay. So if the person is temperamental, okay, if that person is aggressive by nature, so the real self is very aggressive. So the projection that person does most of the time during the day to the outer world is of calm, composed, trying to manage the tone and all of that. And the ideal self is that one fine day I will become like that. So in the real space with the people, that person is comfortable, he is harsh, disorganized, screaming, shouting, not articulating, not managing emotions, just throwing up as and when. So this is a peak. Then it's the other end of the spectrum, the way he's projecting himself. Yes, and the ideal is in some space, nowhere. So there is no path to reach to that. So there are a whole lot of difference in how that person is operating on a day-to-day basis. So one will see that such kind of a person or personality is bound to have breakdowns, bound to have relationship issues, bound to have internal chaos, more than the relationship itself also. So the overthinking, over analyzing, so lot of chaos. Move to the next, we are running short of time. Okay, so this is very important. You guys can take a snapshot of this to make use of this later also. So Clifton has given his 10 core strengths. I would give you a quick moment. Try to figure out your top strengths, top 3 strengths. Now, how to figure out which is my strength to begin with? Figure out in terms of which of these strengths I most often used consciously or not mindfully, but I use it very often. Which of these? Which of these strengths has helped me to have the outcome that the positive outcome that I was aiming for? Which strength of mine enables me to achieve my set goal? And which strength of mine has I've got feedback that you are a great organizer, you manage very well. People tell me that you have a distinct presence when you are around, or people say that I have confidence in me. Usability, outcome, and feedback. So pick out your top 3 strengths.
Ma'am, what's relating?
Sorry,
What's relating? Like, it's one of the bulletin points over there.
I'm Kevin. Harshita, move to the next one, please. Next one, please. So we are talking relating in terms of relationships.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Go to the previous one. Achieving in terms with respect to your accomplishments, caring in terms of having empathy, supporting, helping other, competing with self, not just with others, but competing, becoming a better version of oneself. Confidence coming from a place of self-efficacy, that yes, I can, right? Not just to prove a point. Dependability is that taking ownership and responsibility around things. Next, please. discovering, staying adventurous and curious about knowing about why and how's around you, being a foresighted person, making use of the present time but also looking ahead, good at scheduling, planning, categorizing, organizing presence, like have your own presence. The next slide, please. So now I would request you to maybe take a snapshot of this also. That this is like, a huge work. So these are the very technical domains of life: personal, home, family, profession, finance, your romantic relationships, general relationships, not just romantic, spiritual self, your physical health, the kind of activities which enables you to feel relaxed, any areas where you are voluntarily supporting, anything else. These are those very crucial, important domains of life. So try to just place your finger on one in which you become a better version of self. Just pick one because of the time constraint. Move to the next, please. So with profession, you can have academic, right? So now understand what exactly is best possible. So it's a concept in itself, the best possible self. So as individuals, we definitely, the whole idea, I might sound a little spiritual in that respect, but the idea of our human existence is soul journey, right? We are here to become a better version of ourselves, right? Our life experiences, good, bad, ugly, they come across in our life to, they are giving us opportunities to look beyond, to think beyond, and to do beyond. If we are going to restrict ourselves just with what we are doing and thinking and all that, we are not going to grow. So the growth lies outside comfort. So the growth lies outside our fear, which is holding us back. So the best possible self, it basically, it's about the idea, just even the idea. It starts with an idea that what I might would like to do, what I might want to become. And I'm not saying this only pertaining to my professional best possible self. That can be one of the things. So your professional life is one slice of the big pizza. It's not all of the pizza, right? So that's why it was very crucial to share with you the different domains of life, that there is more to life. So people who are not successful professionally can't be looked at as unsuccessful people, but we have been trained and conditioned to look at it. A child who is not performing well academically is not a bad child, or a child who is performing academically very well but in otherwise, in other domains, he's not doing fine, can't be, you know uh, those aspects can't be overlooked just because he's academically sound. So we as individuals, we are wholesome. We need to forget about how the world has tried to share or sell a concept of self, but please take the ownership and responsibility and craft and learn about the whole idea of wholesome self. So the best possible self is thoughts about how I view my potential future pertaining to my family life, pertaining to my social life, my spiritual life. And best possible self help us to bring the, it's like, it's excite our cognition and motivation. It motivates us to cognitively work towards our best possible self. Next, please. Harshita, can we have the next slide? Yeah. So it generally helps to restructure, because if I'm going to spend time investing on looking at, my best possible self, that coming from a place of my domains, then it will help me. It will take me to that place where I will be bound to restructure my priorities, because I need to be becoming better than me. Then I need to be realigning things. It definitely, best possible self, it increases positive effect and well-being. It takes you to that place of feel like as an enabler, as a doer, versus just being a silent spectator. And it helps us to bit by bit move towards our goal, and each bit is an accomplishment in its own way, in its own right, which needs to be savored and cherished. The journey has to be cherished towards best possible self. Next, please. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to think, but write these questions and maybe you can introspect and look at them later. How would I define my best possible self? Define your best possible self. What is the idea of my best possible self in different domains of my life? अपना खुद का एक डेफिनेशन क्रिएट करो. होलसम बेस्ट पॉसिबल सेल्फ क्या है? Now, the best possible self can be realistic, can be idealistic, but it has to be so bespoke, it has to be so unique. No borrowing of words and phrases and all that from anyone. And trust me, children, you will feel so empowered that it's my life, I'm designing it. There are certain things that are in my control, how best I should be using that, versus always focusing on what is missing. Next slide, please. So these are again the domains of life. Go to the next one. We are falling short of time, that's why I'm rushing. So click a snapshot of this. And this is something that I would just request all of you to do. Pick up one domain of your life in which you wish to become your best possible self. Then rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of where is my level of satisfaction right now in that particular domain. And figure out the reason why I am at this level. If it's at 1 or 2 or 5, why I'm on this. Then figure out where I wish to be. Figure out what are those factors which are going to, when I'm saying motivate me, which are going to excite me to move forward. What are those internal factors? What are those external factors? And write very specifically the change in which area of my academic life I wish to bring change in which area of my social life I wish to bring change in. So maybe I'm not social right now, I want to become more, have more engaged, more meaningful relationships socially. Okay, fine, that this could be my goal, but what specifically? So am I looking at, I cannot go all out and have 50 or 10 people. So my specific goal for a month is in terms of having one meaningful relationship. Now, if I'm saying meaningful, what is meaningful for me? Have those internal conversation, which could be that one person I can connect with. What is my strategy in terms of, not I'm talking in terms of as a manipulator, but what is my strategy to connect with that person? How much time I am ready to invest? What is the objective? Why I want this person in my life at a certain value place? What I can do for this person, right? So bring those aspects to forefront. Next, please. Okay, so with all this thing, we are just going to maybe take a break, but not like a break, take a breather. And if there are any questions or anything, please maybe ask your questions or clear your doubts or any reflection, any thought. Harshita, can we have the full screen, the screen where I can see everybody? Yes. So any thoughts, any reflections? I'm really looking forward to.
I had a question.
Please.
In the three categories of strengths that you told us to reflect on, one was usability, one was feedback. What was the third one?
Usable outcome.
Outcome.
Which
Okay.
strength has helped you to achieve the outcome that you were desiring for?
Okay.
That you can look at. Yeah. So what has been your take back? Let's maybe ask you very specifically to get some response. Something that you connected with, something that resonated for you.
I had never thought about compartmentalizing all these different. I mean, I knew all of us try to get better, right?
Right.
But I had never seen a list of things that you can work on. Maybe keep them as goals for a month or something. So that was something I felt useful.
Perfect. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything? Something that you feel
Ma'am, I felt that the ideal self which one or the best possible self which one is achieving can be in all domains or the domains which you prioritize. So, if somebody does not want to be a family man, does not want to compete in any of the domains, it's according to him, and which is empowering in some sort.
absolutely. So it's very, very relative. So to each its own. What is your priority in life? We can't be putting, all our energies all the time in all the domains. So we need to be aligned to what is crucial and important to me in this phase of my life. So I need to be investing my better emotions and my better time in that to get some kind of a response or impact from there. So I think we are already short of time, and Jayashree, please take over from here. Right? Are you
Yeah.
ready for the next set of
Yeah.
learning?
Ma'am, can you see the screen?
Yes. A lot of noise. Yeah. Thank you, Smita.
Thanks, Jayashree.
So that most of you would have made some goal. Is it okay for one of you to share the goal, at least in one domain?
I think I'll share one.
Yes,
Please do.
Ira?
Yes. My family is my priority, but so I want to. I think one goal for me would be to dedicate more time to them, to be more mindful when I'm spending time with them, and just to be a more present member of my family, as in just to give back to them more.
Okay. So that is, you saw that activity the way we said, on 0 to 1 scale, how much do you rate now?
Okay, so now I think I rate myself not very high, maybe a 6.
Okay. So then what are the, I mean, why do you say that you rate yourself 6? See, that's the obstacle which is holding you back. Yeah?
Yeah.
And what more will you do to raise to 8 or 9? If, because we look at numbers, when we look at numbers, because what you shared just now is all subjectively, that I want to spend more time. But more is so different for people. So when we are talking about positive psychology, we need to kind of narrow our vision for broadening our vision. It's like that. Going in to come out is what we are saying. Connect to your roots, because as a tree, if you have strong roots, then you're flourishing well, right? So that's the idea, that become more specific as possible, and generating as many positive emotions on the way. So positive emotions, why? Because they are the ones which opens your heart. One smile I see on your face and I feel, okay, I'm going good, right? When I'm talking to somebody. But if somebody is just looking somewhere and I'm talking, I feel something is wrong within me. I won't feel that the other person priority is different. It would be simply saying, Are, am I saying something wrong? Is he not in tune with me? Why? So these are the kind of questions which hold us back. And it is in our hands. Positive psychology believes strongly in the self, that it is in your hands to set goals, to generate positive emotions. You don't have to wait for people to give you feedback. Next, Harshita. So if that, we can take Hira's example, right? Hira, is it okay?
I think Hira's having network issues, but I think she'll be all right.
Yeah. So why I am using her example, because then it becomes very easy for you to understand that how to use these skills, what I'm going to be sharing, the skills of self-regulation. See, it is a strength. When we talk of self-regulation, it's a bigger strength. But what we look at it is a very, very different thing. I can't be doing it all the time. So there is a double dialogue going on in our mind. The skills of positive emotions, how I can be positive all the time. So it's not about being positive. For an example, that if you are a pilot and then it is the weather has been announced that it's going to be very windy and maybe a cyclone, and I'm a positive person, nothing is going to go wrong and I'm going to fly the plane. We are not talking about that positivity. There is a realistic element involved in this. So being open to possibilities, yes, now that there is a cyclone, this thing, there is this thing. So how am I going to be looking at different dimensions, creating healthy boundaries, advocating for one's need? Okay, right now, no, I can't be flying. Though there is a need I need to reach, but the bigger need is of my safety, my security. So that is what it allows you to address. It allows you to address both your negative, your realistic self and your positive self, using the feedback constructively. These are some of the skills I'll be sharing with you in detail. Next, Harshita. The main thing is self-regulation. So we were looking at the 10 Clifton skills, right? So if you look at it, can you identify which are the skills which goes with self-regulation? Which are the strengths? If anybody has taken the snapshot, can you relate that this is the main core strength? From it generates the Clifton strengths, the 10 strengths which we shared with you. Am I clear? Yeah. Organizing, na. Any others?
Competing with oneself.
Competing with oneself to an extent. Before that, the main one.
Caring.
Confidence.
Yes,
The
confidence.
discoverer.
Achieving.
The discoverer.
One more.
I think the organizer.
Yes, the organizer
Achieving.
who is responsible and achieving. Yes. So the whole idea of self-regulation gives you that I am responsible for myself. When I'm responsible for myself, my goals, my well-being, then I can be responsible for others or all my roles that I am playing in. So responsibility comes strongly with what we say, the freedom to choose. We always want to choose what we want to do. We say, okay, choose your goals. So you're free to choose. But self-regulation says, hang on. You can't be so choosy. You need me with you to realize your potential, realize your goal, because I am the one who is going to give you direction towards it as organizer, that put things in perspective, put steps to achieve it. And it is very different from self-control. In fact, it activates self-control. So many times when we talk of self-regulation, everybody says, yeah, we know it. नहीं बोलना अभी कुछ भी. हम यहाँ बैठे हैं, हमको straight बैठना है. It's not about controlling. It's about activating the self-control, like becoming responsible that I am attending a webinar. And it is my wish that I have registered without anybody's pressures. Sometimes, yes, peer pressure is there. कि okay, मैं भी जा रही हूँ, चल तू भी चलना, सुन लेते हैं क्या है. But that's about it. Once you go, if you put your heart, you will reach. If you put your mind to it, only you can move forward. If you look at your friend, what she is doing, you are not going to reach where you want to reach. So that's the kind of self-control or self-regulation is what we are looking at as a strength to connect to your goals. So strongly, as I mentioned, that there's a stark difference between self-control and self-regulation, because self-regulation is a strength and self-control is a conscious all the time saying you, no, don't do it. No, you can't be angry now. And self-regulation says you can be assertive. This is the time you voice it. आज नहीं तो कभी नहीं. It's something like that. It gives you that kind of power. The only best part of self-regulation is that it gets depleted on usage. What would you mean by depletion? Anybody would? Depletion means it gets exhausted, it gets tired. Your self-regulation gets tired.
Maybe you won't be able to as strongly self-regulate in the evening as compared to in the morning.
Exactly. In fact, that is what 24/7 and 365 days. It's not possible. And that is what positive psychology strongly believes, that it requires to be replenished. Like there is a scope. It does get tired. You all would have felt, the best example I can give you is about the one you said is, yes, at the end of the day. But how about after writing the exam? Right? You don't want to do anything because you have sort of used self-regulation, but you have focused as a control. So when you're focused as a control, you just let loose yourself. So the same thing when you use it as self-regulation, research states that it's the same dialogue. As I'm talking to you, it's the internal dialogue, what you're saying, that I regulated myself and yes, I am exhausted, but there is something more. Like when you go home, you're still lucky the students, but like we, okay, homemakers are also professionals. At 7, when I'm going to complete, there would be family waiting. What about the dinner? So I can't say that, oh, I'm tired and I'm not going to be serving you. I wouldn't want to say that. So what will I do? I will replenish myself with positive emotions. These are very, very important and in my hand or in your hand or in each and everyone's hand to replenish this self-regulation or replenish our psychological capital. This is beautiful research done on students, which has told that how what I'm sharing with you is doable and possible. Next. Because when you, why you want to, it is replenishable because positive emotions are in your hands. I told you, just one glass of juice can bring back your mood to, okay, I can do now, I can go further. A candy, a chocolate, you know, or just a shift of mind, okay, a big smile. This research states that 3:1. The positivity should, I mean, the positive motion should be 3 over 1 negative. 1 negative is, Abba, I am tired and I still have to serve my family. So that is only 1. But I can generate 3 negatives, I mean 3 positives. That, oh, my family, I will be happy when whatever I made earlier, if I'm going to be dishing them, it is my happiness. So this research proves that it is in your hands how you're looking at your own goals, your own best possible self. It's here and now. It is also one more theory tells us about increasing positive emotion is possible. When we go to the next one, Harshita. Ha. So before we go, I think most of you all know what are emotions, but I just thought, okay, let me tell you that emotions are something, what Smita also was sharing with you, are some positive, some negative, some horrible experiences which we don't like to see in us. And positive psychology says, embrace all. Your negative is also you, and your positive is also you. Never always say that I get angry and I don't want to become angry. Better way to say is that I like to smile and I want to see myself smiling. There's no scope for being angry when you are smiling. So that's the kind of statements what you use for yourself. Generate emotions for your best possible self, for your goals created. And that makes you remain in the optimistic and open to new possibilities. It can also like look at sometimes your past, your present, that present I'm doing this and future I'm going to be doing this. This connects. Positive emotion in present connects you to your past and to your future. That's the best way to look at it. Next one, Harshita. So now we're going to be showing you one video, and while you see this video, please look at what all positive emotions are being generated, please.
Can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Is it audible, ma'am?
Yes.
Hey, sweetie. Sorry I got home so late, but I had to pick something up after work. It's such a beautiful day outside. You should let some sun in. Why don't you stop playing and open the present I got for you?
Tree?
Hello? Oh, yes, sir. I don't know why you didn't get the papers. I put them on your desk before I left.
Okay. Whoa! Cool! Hmm? Ugh. She's gotta be kidding me. Get lost! Ah, Mom! We'll be outside!
Illuminates the past. My heart sleeps beneath the stars. Wake me.
Yeah. So can anybody share how many positive emotions you could generate while looking at this video? At least number. Anyone can share how many?
Maybe two, I would say.
2. Okay. Anybody else? More than 2? Yeah.
How do you count the number of positive emotions?
That's the question I was waiting for. How many positive emotions we know other than saying, I am happy, right? We do not know also that there are so many positive emotions. Harshita, next slide, please. There are umpty numbers of positive emotions. In this, you could see connectivity, you could see hope, because that child, the one who was watching the video, is not having, right? He is having some difficulty in moving. So when the dog was playing, he was getting irritated. But the patience, the show, and then he felt content. The security gave him, yes, I can go about. So these are the kind of emotions, positive emotions. The love for self made him go for further. The joy, yes, he is playing so well. Can I play too? Interest. He was not interested. He was interested only in his game. And the dog persistently created interest in him. So that's another positive emotion. And this is only one bit. There are umpty numbers. See, you as a person can give yourself one homework daily that I'm going to look at one positive word, look at the meaning and try using it, understanding the core meaning. Because optimism again is such a slang word. Hope, as I was sharing with you, I'm very hopeful that I will fly in this weather circumstances. That's not the kind of hope we are talking about. Hope gives you pathways to create your goal, to reach your destination. And positive psychology has created tools to how to increase hope. Optimism is not only about being optimistic कि चलो कल अच्छा हो जाएगा. Tomorrow is too far away. What about present now? How can I see optimism around when there is chaos? So many times now most of you are living at your home and maybe some are small places with too many members. Till now it was very fine that the father used to be in the office and mother was home and you were in college. It was fine. But now all the three are there and working. And maybe your siblings also are there with you. So there is chaos around. But in this chaos, can you look for optimism? Learning. So that is what it says. Learning from what is going on in your present life. So this is what positive psychology teaches you, and there is each modules to it. We have just given you today the what we say overview of what can be achieved. Lot more goes into it. Gratitude is again now say thank you, everybody would say. Pass on a thank you, pass on a smile. But there's whole lot of scientific thing goes into it, and until and unless it connects your heart, all remains at the surface level, and what we call is personality. And personality will slowly become a type A personality where you're running, achieving, yes, but again looking for more and more and more. So it is very, very different, these positive emotions, which can take you further and can strengthen you, go on strengthening you day in and day out. It's in your hands to take charge of your best possible self or live the life, take it as it comes. You have to make a choice, and make a choice and stick to it is what positive psychology believes. Next, please. So what I've been sharing you is based on the research by Barbara Fredrickson. She is the one who is, if you Google, most of you are Googlers nowadays, and if you just Google her name, you will get all what I am telling you. Each statement has a research backing. That negative emotions narrow down your actions and positive emotions make you do something more. Like you want to keep doing those actions. And positive emotions develop your strengths. It replenishes. That's the way to replenish your strength. Yes, Narshita, the next one. So now you can reflect again. We are going back to the best possible self in any of the domains after knowing your self-regulation, your positive emotions. Would you want to still stick to what you have said in earlier, or do you want to change? You have a choice. because the next activity what I'm going to give you is your self contract. Next, Harshita. This, Smita. Is Smita here? Oh, okay. I'll continue this. This is something I would like each one of you to fill it up. We will give you our email. If you can mail us, not that we will be with a stick on you that you did this, you committed to yourself. It would be just sometimes when you share with somebody, you know, you feel more responsible, and especially the person who is going to give you unconditional support. So that's the reason why, because that's called commitment. Otherwise, you keep on changing and changing. So to reduce and focus on one thing, you could do this, keeping your domains in mind, keeping your best possible self in mind. This is the contract. You can make it today, and if you want, you can, one of you can share right now, and others or all can email to us. What would you prefer doing it? Can anybody share it right now? It's difficult. You could mail us, no issues. We'll be sharing with you our email ID. The next slide, what I'm going to be sharing with you is all the helplines, because when I was discussing with the Psych Club, they were saying that you would like to know of different helplines. So these are the kind of helplines which are free to any time. You could connect, removing the, breaking the barriers of taking help. You could use any of these helplines. Next, Harshita. Next. Smita, I just completed that activity, self-contract. And I hope you will be mailing us, right? We will be sharing our email ID at the end of the program. Any questions? Smita, would you like to say something?
Okay, I'm audible now. So
Yes.
students, we can just connect now and open the platforms for some good relatable questions that can, help you to, bring out what you have been holding on to, relevant to today's session, or something which is maybe beyond and not connected to the session that we have been part of. Please feel free to put your thoughts together, but we are post our 7 o'clock time. Harshita, I would just request you to go back, kindly, move from the slides and connect back on the open platform. So the whole idea of this just an hour that we got together was basically that if we have to just do a very quick recap of this whole thing on journey of best possible self, was to start with connect with yourself, accept yourself for who you are, right? Very, very important, very, very crucial. Post that is find meaning and importance around positive emotion, the role and impact positive emotions have, and they play in a very subtle and very obvious way in our life. The ripple effect is so huge that it's beyond our, our imagination also, the way they connect and they impact. Also, the third very crucial point in terms of achieving our best possible self is to, I have heard a lot of students come up and say, ma'am, please help me out and let me stay motivated all the time. I just say there's nothing like, motivated, like you can't stay inspired all the time or charged all the time. What you can and we need to focus on is how well we can regulate ourselves. You know, so self regulation and its role is so crucial. Self discipline is such a crucial important part of towards our best possible self. And more concretely, to bring everything together, I'm leaving you with one question. I would really like you to make a note of that right now. Ask yourself time and again, what am I doing and why?
Why am I doing it?
What am I doing and why? This is going to help you to trace your steps back when you are withering away in all the distractions and all the, amazing, so to say, lovely stuff that is happening around you. And FOMO, like fear of missing out, is something that this is a jargon that, that we are all so, I would say, caught up in. We don't want to miss out the beautiful life that we are blessed with. But unfortunately, we also need to draw our attention back to that if we really wish to excel somewhere, we can't be distributing our energies. So I would really suggest as another thing, so that this is the fifth element, that keep a very timely, in tune, a sense of commitment. What Jayashree has just shared with you, a commitment thing. Trust me, if you read it continuously for 3 times, it will elicit a sense of, ownership and responsibility, that I need to be looking into this. I need to be committed myself. No magic happens. No Santa Claus comes and says, oh, one fine day, oh, you want to be that? Okay. So as a psychologist, my people fraternity, we say visualize. But if you just keep visualizing, great. That's the first step. But there are a whole lot of other steps that need to be looked at. Karma is one such strong thing that our culture has taught. Bhagavad Gita has spoken just about karma. And where does it come from? From from the play, yeah, from the mind, from the belief that yes, I can. And then time and again, the people that you have as sort of role models in your life, they have not achieved it in one day. So there are multiple ways, techniques that, over a period of time, if we manage to connect again, we will talk about it and take you at a deeper level. We were just trying to understand the sense and the feel of the group, and this is what we have to offer. And good luck and God bless, and may you all achieve your amazing, beautiful dreams that you're holding on to. But embrace them close to yourself. Let them ring in your life, and let visualize them, create a mood board for yourself, breathe them. Don't get, I'm not talking about in terms of going crazy about it, that you're not seeing, but fall in love with them. That you look at it and it just gives you a sense of meaning in life. So familiarize yourself with the finer nuances of the goals. Academic is one bit of it, great, but there are a lot of other domains. Explore your strengths. Very crucial, very important part. Okay, so on that note, I wind up. Jayashree, please take over if you have something to say. Yeah.
I would just want some feedback, oral feedback. How was it for you?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm Shreya. It was a great session. Thank you for Psych Club, and thank you to Psych Club and Reach Beyond NGO for putting this up together. I just have one question. I love the work that Reach Beyond NGO is doing. Is there anything that we as youngsters can contribute, or can we volunteer? How can we help out?
Yes, I'm really thankful to Harsh, one of the Psych Club member, who has been online, like on WhatsApp. He has been helping my students taking math classes.
Okay.
He has been so superbly doing for 1 month, and that's how we were in constant touch, and he could connect me to the Psych Club. I would thank Harsh for taking this up. Harsh, if you are around, thank you very much. And we are also looking at some technical support. You see, right now, Harshita, we are only hopeful she does. There are so many things which youngsters could really promote this concept of taking help. There are videos, lovely video was made and shared. We could guide you to much better things in a concrete way. We are looking at having well-being as a subject right from school to the, of course, when you're growing up, adolescence, it is very, very important. But when we know how a fan works, why shouldn't we know how a mind works? It works towards pleasure and avoiding pain. So these are the kind of things we are looking at support from the young minds.
So what we can do, this is a very beautiful thing that if you have reached out, and I'm sure it's coming from a place of meaning also. So we will streamline, in a couple of capacities that we can see hand holding and connect with your psych club. And we will write back to you on that, and we will see how we can work together in this. Yes, Jayashree, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes. Any other feedback? Anybody would like to say how was the session for you?
I would like to add, hi, this is Sanam here.
Yeah. Hi, Sanam.
Hi. So I just wanted to say that the entire session was very insightful. I feel like personally I have an interest in psychology and positive psychology, and I've tried to read up on it. But one thing I've always struggled with in particular is actually implementing these things into action. Because I think a lot of these terms like hope and all sorts of positive emotions and things like gratitude, they're terms that are used very loosely in everyday life. And actually putting that into concrete practice, structuring it and using it to align, yourself with your goals is something so difficult because no one teaches you to do it. And I feel like some of the things that we spoke about in the session, like rating ourselves on a particular domain in life, like that's something that I never considered doing. It puts so much structure to the entire process.
Absolutely.
So it would definitely help a lot to actually achieve the outcomes that we intend to. And yeah, it was super helpful. So thank you.
So to answer to a quick one, an answer to your question would be on the lines that we have a streamlined, very systematic training material in terms of building resilience, hope, gratitude. So these are skills, and the moment we are talking about skills, that means this has to be learned at any given point of time. Yeah. So this is a skill. So we have a skill building program, and we would be more than glad to, bring it out and share with you. Yeah, share with all of you for everyone's benefit. And I'm glad you spoke about these concepts. It's so wonderful to the ears to hear from youngsters like you talk about hope and gratitude, and you're finding meaning in these words. Because so there is a scientific evidence that these skills can be learned and applied. So it's part of applied psychology fraternity. Yes, great.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you so much.
So thank you. Can we wind up?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, before we wind up, Hira, I would request everybody to fill in the feedback form.
I'll put up the link right now. I'm sharing my screen.
One of my friends could not attend the entire talk. He's asking if the PPT can be shared. Is it possible?
It
so
won't
sorry.
work. We would request you not to do that, because that won't serve any purpose to him. Because the explanation behind what we were showing is much more than what was shown.
Okay, so I guess I'll just ask him to contact you directly.
Yeah.
So we also have a recording of the meeting. I think we can try to share.
You could send us the recording link for that's
okay. And the feedback form link is on my screen right now, if everyone can see it. It's tiny.cc/psychem. And this will take you to a Google form, which can help you fill the feedback for our session today.
Please at least take 5 minutes and give us a feedback, because that would be more assuring and more thing for us to move ahead, believe in our thank you so much. Let's see.
We'll send the link to everyone's number that you have on
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
we'll definitely do that also.
You can get the link from there also.
Yeah.
Jayashree and Smita and Harshita, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and collaborating with us to teach us about positive psychology. It was something that we really needed to hear. And thank you so much. I think there's one person who's raising their hand. She, I think, has a question. You can go ahead.
I
You
need
can just
to
unmute
go.
yourself. Whoever's raising your hand, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. I think Shrodh Mehta. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, but you can ask your question.
That was probably a mistake. I think he has left.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No problem then.
Okay, take care. Good luck, children. God bless
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Hira, Shraddha, Harsh, Amam, for coordinating all of it. And it was great interacting with you all. So I hope all of this sort of made sense and it will help you help yourself.
It really did. All these reflective questions, they really make you think about yourself and where you
yes.
what you're planning for
And
yourself.
that's the least part of it that we actually sort of reflect on ourselves. But the other things, they just keep our priorities kind of shift very easily. So yes, I hope it was insightful and it was interesting. Thank you so much for this opportunity to collaborate with your institute, and it was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye bye. Good night.
बंद कर दो.
I would thank you I would what? Okay, people are leaving. Chalo.
Recording बंद करो. Recording बंद कर दो.
Okay, whoever took time to attend the session, thank you so much. And we hope to see you at our next events too.